What up, Chicken Nuggets? Tyler here with the Sports Cards Are Dope podcast, and I wanted to explain to you why I spent $650 on 4 pieces of memorabilia that I feel are 80% chance they're all fake. So let's get into it and explain why I'm not great with money. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty good with money. That's how I'm able to spend $650. I'm not too great, but also I'll be fine. I'll be okay. Okay, so first off, how you doing? How you living? Have you ever done this? In the comments on YouTube or Spotify, let me know if you ever bought memorabilia that was not certified. I know some people in the comments were like, I only buy certified stuff. And I'm going to get into in a minute why, yes, certification helps things feel more legit, but also it ain't 100%, yo. 100%, yo. So here's what I purchased. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. If you're not, I'll explain it so you know. The first one, which I think is the most sketchy, I got a glove signed by Muhammad Ali. Okay, I went and looked at Muhammad Ali's autographs online, some that were like in PSA slabs. I'll be honest, it is a wide range of, they don't all look the same. I'll be honest, not all of them look the same, and they are slabbed by PSA and Beckett. So that was number one. The rest, you can see a trend here. First off, I have a hat, a Chicago Bulls hat, says three-peat, and it's signed by Paxton, Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, forgot Bob something. I can't remember his name. I keep wanting to say Bill Laimbeer, but it's not Laimbeer. What does that do? Cartwright. Bill Cartwright. And then Michael Jordan. Then I got this Team USA practice jersey. It's like a reversal practice jersey signed by Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. Again, allegedly signed by them. And then my favorite piece is this Chicago White Sox batting practice mesh 90s jersey signed by Michael Jordan, number 45 on the back. Okay. So I'm going to go through my thought process when I purchased this, and I'd love to know your thought process whenever you do something like this. So I was at this card show, smaller card show. It had started trimming, like I had to coach my son's third grade football team, so I was late, and there were supposed to be storms in the area, so a lot of the dealers had left. But there was a big setup. It was like 3 or 4 tables, and they had this huge like Wild World of Sports thing with different autographs on it. And then they had a bunch of autos around there. A couple of them some of them were certified, but a lot of them were not certified. And a lot of Nolan Ryan stuff, a lot of some 90s Braves stuff. And it was an older lady and then her son and a lady with him. And their story was that her husband had apparently sold a bunch of these, got a bunch of these autographs and sold them for years. And then he passed away. And so now they're finally trying to clear out the warehouse and sell a bunch of this stuff. So they brought a bunch of their better things there. They had several jerseys, some signed by Shaq, some signed by Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, a bunch of hats autographed. And I'm looking through it, and it looks great. And once they said it wasn't certified, my heart dropped. I was like, oh, it's not certified. But also, I know, like, if you're taking a risk on something, if it's certified, for a Michael Jordan autograph, on anything, you're looking at minimum $2,000 to $3,000, minimum. With it not being certified, I just asked. I was like, what are your prices on the Shaq and what are your prices on the Jordan jersey with Scottie? And he said like $250 on the Shaq, which is high for Shaquille O'Neal, but it was a dope looking jersey. It was like an old school Magic jersey. So that's actually high for like certified Shaq stuff. You can get a certified Shaq jersey for $100 to $200. And so I was like, that's really high. But then on the Jordan, he said like, I don't know, $250, $300, somewhere in there for the Jordan Pippen. I think it was $300. And I was like, that's actually like, that's on par with uncertified Michael Jordan autographs because people take the risk on it or they just like the way it looks and they'll put it up in their office. And that's where I am on most MJ stuff. I just want it to look dope. Now, as far as MJ autos go, I've got a Michael Jordan autographed basketball. Now, when I look up the cert on it, it doesn't it came in an upper deck box with upper deck certification. It looks legit based on everything MJ stuff. It's even got the sticker, but when you search the Balls sticker on there, it goes to like nothing. And I know Upper Deck's some changes on their website, but I really trust the guy I bought it from, and it looks dope. The other Michael Jordan auto I have, I paid I think $1,700 for it, and it comes with like it's a picture in a frame, and it has an Upper Deck certification in the back, and it looks exactly like Upper Deck's website whenever you search it. So that of all my MJ autos, I feel best about that image. And my basketball is second just because of the box and all the stuff it came in. And then all this stuff is like a distant third. And so when I walked up to the table and I'm looking at it, I'm talking to him, I see the Chicago White Sox jersey, and I'm like, That's pretty sick. And it's got the MJ like autograph in the chest. And then I loved this three-peat hat. So like I'm looking at those and like those are my three favorite pieces. And I asked him numbers on them. And I think he said like 350 for the hat. He said 250 for this jersey and 250 for that, 300 for that jersey. So we're looking at like that's like $900 to $1,000. Okay. And so I'm like, those are more COA prices, but I don't want to drop $1,000 on stuff that's probably fake. And I would honestly guess that me personally, I feel like I'm 80% certain these autos are fake. Now, I did do a poll on my Instagram, and I'll give you the results right now. Out of, let's see who voted. I have like 350 votes. 64% said this looked legit. Let's see. On this USA jersey, 55% say this looks legit. And then on the hat, 68% said it looks legit. So most people said it looks legit. Again, anybody that is going to certify this is a human. They say DNA, like they're not taking swabs like this is the Serial podcast. Like they're not getting DNA, to my knowledge, they're not. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they're actually getting DNA testing because that's ridiculous. Most of these players are just writing it anyways. It's touching the marker and that's it. So I don't know how DNA testing would work unless they're like licking the card and then autographing it. So we're trusting these companies to be good at discerning this. And the thing that kind of changed for me, I'll give you the two reasons I made these purchases. Number one, while certifications are great, unless it's a modern like Fanatic certification, even then those they can swap stickers around. People can mess with that. If I see it happen, I think it's legit. If I don't see the autograph happen, I'd say with most certifications that line up, I'd say 80 to 90% sure of that autograph being legit. I'm not 100%. I do not fully believe in those certifications. And the reason, if y'all listen to the Sports Cards Nonsense, greatest podcast in the game on sports cards, Sports Cards Nonsense had a guest on, it was probably like a couple months ago, and he was talking about, he went to jail for forging signatures. And he talked about having thousands of signatures go through JSA, PSA, all these certification companies. He admitted to having them go through them. And this was all after that person that said that like 80, 90, what did he say? Huge percent of the GOAT autograph market, he forged. And like there were inconsistencies in there, but he did say he forged it and then he offed himself. But like, I don't fully trust the certifications anymore. So I know I'm taking a chance even if it's certified. I do not fully trust them. I fully trust if I see them. Like my kids and I go to Grizzlies games. I trust those because I watch them do it and I usually have it on video. These, what concerned me was there were so many Jordan autos, and her reasoning was she said her husband had a friend who worked in the clubhouse. He worked whenever Jordan played baseball, he worked in the clubhouse, got a bunch of stuff signed. Which most of the items were 90s. Like there wasn't a lot of like 2000s modern stuff. And so that backed up, like there was no inconsistencies there with regards to the timing. So a lot of it looked like it could have been legit bought from the 90s. And so I knew I was taking the risk, but it was given values of non-certified stuff. Okay, so while it's a lot of money, it's not near, like it would have been $10,000+ if these were all certified. So that's why I'm paying 10% of that, which is about your average. The other reason, this is the main reason I bought these pieces. The three pieces I bought. So I just recently set up at my buddy Rick. He does this show in Arkansas called Retrofest. He's a YouTuber, does awesome stuff, Retro Rick. He had this show called Retrofest. I set up there, I had some cards, Pokemon cards, 90 stuff, but I was maybe one of 3 tables that had cards at it, sports cards at it. Most of what you're seeing there is vintage stuff from the 90s. Video games, toys, and clothing. There are a lot of vendors set up with retro clothing things. Last year when I went to Retrofest, the only thing I bought, I think the 2 biggest things I bought were 2 90s Jordan t-shirts, and I paid $150 for 2 t-shirts. They were sick and they were vintage, and people pay hundreds and thousands of dollars, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds and or thousands of dollars for retro clothing. What I loved about these pieces, I had just come from Retrofest, and if this Chicago White Sox number 45 batting jersey from the 90s, I've checked the tag, it's from the 90s, this 90s three-peat hat, if I would have bought these 3 pieces not autographed at Retrofest, I would have paid probably between $350 and $500. I paid $550 for these three with potentially autographs on it. The main reason I bought these three pieces is because even if I find out 100% these are not legit, I would wear this jersey around and love it and would have paid over $100 for it without an auto. That's the main reason I purchased it. Now, people are like, you get rude people in the comments sometimes because I posted a quick 1-minute video. What do you guys think? These legit? This is what I bought. And I even said in there, like, they're probably not legit. I know, I'm like 80% certain they're fake. But I love the way they look. And when they're hanging up in my office, whatever. I hope they're real. You know what I mean? It's like when I buy a pair of shoes from somebody on Facebook, they can be like, oh yeah, I think they're legit. They ain't always legit. You know what I mean? Like I bought a pair of shoes before and I'm like, ugh, but guess what? I still wear them. They still look dope. And if they're not real, who cares? I'm just wearing them around town. So that's my mentality. Again, everybody has different, like the Holy Spirit speaks to everybody different with regards to how they feel about this. Me personally, I like the way these pieces look, even if there weren't autos on it. So having autos is just a bonus for me. And I paid an extra of $100 of what I would have paid for potentially autos on it. Now the Ali was kind of like because I just told you $550. That's what I had it at. And then I saw this Ali and I was like, that looks really cool. And I've always wanted one of these on my shelf. And so I just said, we do $100 for the Ali. He said, sure. And so I just tossed that in for another 100 at the end. So that was why I did it. I would love to know in the comments, what did I said, do you plays into your mind, or what else do you think about? There's some stuff I know I'm leaving out, but that's what all went through my mind. I knew it was probably not legit, but I love the pieces. Now, I want to give you, because I wanted to make this about autos, here are 5 red flags whenever you're buying anything autographed, okay? And none of these are always correct or always wrong. It's just things to think about. And then you have to weigh in your spirit if you want to pay that amount of money they're asking for those things. Number 1, certification. PSA, Beckett, JSA, those are kind of like the baseline. Fanatics, those are the baseline for certifications for anything autographed. It doesn't mean it's 100% legit, but it means that hopefully it is. You know what I mean? Hopefully nobody switched anything out or swapped stickers or, whatever. They're not forged. Hopefully it's all legit. And we want to, as a collective industry, we want to believe it's legit, okay? And that's if it's altered after the fact. Much less like it gets through, which that one dude in the interview said a lot of stuff got through. So have a certification. If it doesn't have a certification, that's a big red flag. You should not pay full price. I would never have paid full price for any of these items as if they had a certification when they don't. So keep that in mind. Number two, no story, no trust. If that seller can't tell you clearly what happened, they had a good story on this. I don't know if it's legit or not. Could have been lying, whatever. Do I believe them? I don't know, 65% maybe. I don't know. That again, it's all percentages to me. I'm the worst about doing percentages on stuff because nothing's black and white. Number 3, too much inventory. And this is one of the red flags I had at this table. They had 8, or probably 7 or 8, 6, 7. I did it. I didn't think I was going to do it. 6, 7, 8, 9 MJ autographed hats. Now, granted, that's the easiest one to get signed. You can carry it in. Like, hey, we saw my hat, MJ. Every day at practice, that guy could have. That's what I like to think happened. If there's too much, though, that seems like somebody's just signing through stuff at their house. Number 4, and this one was one of the things, and I think John, basketball card guy, he DM'd me about it, and it was one of the things I legit thought before he said it. If you have multiple autographs, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bulls autographs on this hat. All of the pin pressure looks pretty similar. That was a red flag to me. It looks like all these on the bill, because it's harder to tell with the Paxton on the top. All these 4 autographs down here look very similar in the pin pressure. You would think if they're signing it different, they're going to have different ways they hold it, different angles, it's going to feel different. So that was a red flag to me. So if there's multiple autographs, look at the pin pressure, because that changes when you hand it from one person to another. Okay. Now, the fifth red flag that I'd be aware of is the signature evolution is ignored. If their story was correct, these would all have autographs similar to their autographs in the 90s, because that's when they said they got them. Real autographs change with age, setting, and mood. My son, I'll give you a couple examples. Here are 3 fakes that I had. I say that. Here's 2 fakes that we had or not 2 fakes, 2 questionable autographs that we have. Number 1, I bought a 1997 scoreboard Kobe Bryant autograph. And you're like, if you know the story on Scoreboard, like that was Ken Golden. I think he owned Scoreboard, but then they ended up selling off a lot of cards that were supposed to be autographed by Kobe, or a lot of rookies at the time. They sold them off on, I think, on eBay, and they weren't signed. And so there's a lot of fakes of Scoreboard cards because on the back it says this is an autograph, authentic autograph. And so people just sign Kobe's auto, and they're known for having a bunch of fakes. I bought one on Fanatics Collect, I believe. Yeah, it's Fanatics Collect. I purchased a Kobe Scoreboard auto. And the reason is Fanatics Collect was selling it, so you think they had a layer of, validity. But the main reason is it was slabbed by PSA. PSA in authentic slab, I could check the cert number, and it was on their website. PSA slabbed it and said, this is legit Kobe auto. Once I bought it and got it, I paid like $1,000 for it. When I got it in, I looked at it, and then I did some research, and I was like, there's some red flags here. Whenever I looked it up, it was hand numbered out of 350. Kobe auto, hand numbered out of 350. So according to this, he signed 350 of these cards. Out of 350 cards, you're telling me, once I looked up the cert, only 2 were graded by PSA, the largest grading company in the world. There was 1 graded authentic and 1 graded a 6, which was my copy. Out of 350 cards, that was the biggest red flag for me. And then I took a picture. I sent it to my buddy who is the biggest Kobe collector I know, and he said, I'm 90% certain that Kobe is not legit. That was all I needed to hear. I was going to get rid of it. I tried to get it back to Fanatics Collect. They said, we trust PSA. I tried to get a hold of PSA. They were like, it's a legit slab. I don't know. You could send it in. And I was scared to send it in to them because if they deemed it was only worth $5, say they said, oh yeah, this is actually fake, we're going to get rid of it, and we'll give you the value of, if they give me the value of what my comp was, which was the last comp, they'd give me $1,000. But the comp they quoted me was like a raw card, which sells like an unauthenticated raw card, and it sold for like $300 or $400. And I'm like, I'm gonna lose $700 on this card because I trusted PSA and Fanatics Collect. And so I'm sitting there and I was like, I'll just hold on to it. So I held on to it for a while, and then I ended up taking it to Fanatics Fest, and there were some dudes, and I told them, I was like, hey, here are the red flags I saw, and they just said, no, we trust PSA. I said, okay, well, what would you buy it for? And they knew my comp on Fanatics Collect would play in, so they gave me $800 for it. And I was like, okay, and I turned around and bought a Kobe Bryant Big Man on Court. I bought that from them. So I lost like $200 on the card, which is not bad for a card I think was worth nothing. So those red flags mattered to me with that card because I was trying to collect all the top 75, and I really wanted to make sure those were authentic as to the best of my knowledge. And so I sold it back, and then I bought a different Kobe from John, my guy. So that card I knew was fake, even though it was PSA slabbed. There is a baseball, second example. There is a baseball sitting in my oldest son's room that he will tell you is signed by Tom Brady. It looks like hieroglyphics. If you look at Tom Brady's autograph, it does not look like it. It literally looks like a squiggle and then 2 dots. It looks nothing like, it's like a weird smiley face, but it's an autograph. And you'd be like, well, that if you looked at it and you looked at Tom Brady's auto, you're like, that's not legit. I bet $1,000 not legit. My son would say that it's legit. You know why? Because he handed it to Tom Brady and Tom Brady signed it. And Tom was in a hurry. I don't know if he has to sign like crummy autographs, if it's not directly with Fanatics, but he signed it. It's an awful autograph, but it was signed by Tom Brady. But if you looked at it, you would say it wasn't his auto, but it was. I just gave you 2 examples. One that was certified by PSA, which I'm almost positive is fake, and another is not certified at all, and I know for a fact it is legit. And I know it would not pass through PSA, Beckett, or JSA, or any of them because it don't look legit. But it is. We place, I think, too much value in these companies and their opinions. We place too much value in that. And granted, it's more for peace of mind. It doesn't change what it looks like unless they slab it, then it's in a slab. It's just our peace of mind. I paid values here to where I'm okay buying these pieces even if they weren't autographed. You have to decide when you're going up to these tables and you see these and you have those red flags, is that piece, either am I confident enough it's legit, or would I want that piece even if it wasn't legit? Would I want it for that price? And you have to make that choice for yourself. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are. I don't think this will go up in time for these to be on my Instagram story. That'll have gone off, so you can't vote. But I did make a video about it if you want to check it out. Everything's backwards because it films, when you film yourself, it's backwards. And some people are like, oh, yeah, it's real intentional about filming backwards. Like, If you don't know how to make a video, be quiet. Like, bro, you don't have a profile photo. Grow up, okay? Change your profile photo from the generic one. So those are my thoughts on this. What are your thoughts? What are your red flags that I didn't mention with regards to autos? And do you have any autos that you love that you're not sure are legit? If you're on YouTube, throw that in the comments. You're also more than welcome to like and subscribe. We're trying to help grow the YouTube channel. The short videos do pretty well. Longer videos, we're working on it. Algorithm, it just depends on if they ride the sea of the algorithm. So thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all be good, stay sweet, and never stop collecting. Sports cards are dope. So are you. Go MJ.